All right, today we're tackling a big one, mysophobia. You know, that intense fear of germs and contamination. It's something that affects way more people than you'd probably guess. So what's it all about? Let's get into it.
You know, we've all got that friend who's a total neat freak, right? Loves a tidy space. But when does that love for being clean cross a line? When does it stop being a preference and start becoming something that, well, really takes over someone's life? That's the big question here.
Okay, so here's the official breakdown. Mysophobia, you might also hear it called germophobia, isn't just about liking things neat and tidy. No, this is a full-blown anxiety disorder. And the words to really focus on are intense and irrational. We're not talking about simple caution here. This is a fear that grabs hold and just doesn't let go, no matter what logic tells you.
So to really get a handle on this, we've got to talk about the scale of this fear. I mean, it goes so far beyond just your typical concerns about hygiene. It becomes this massive, overwhelming feeling that's, well, it's incredibly difficult to manage.
And this chart, it lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got typical cleanliness, right? Stuff we all do, like washing your hands before you eat. Totally normal. But then you look at mysophobia, and that simple act gets twisted into washing your hands until they're literally raw. It's the difference between, being a little worried about catching a cold and having a full-on panic attack just thinking about germs. It becomes a compulsion that just runs the show.
So you have to wonder, right? Where does a fear like this even start? Because it's definitely not something anyone would choose. Let's take a look at some of the common causes.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's no single answer. The causes can be super complex. For some people, it might be triggered by a really bad illness they went through or saw someone else go through. For others, it could be a learned behavior. Maybe they grew up in a home that was just excessively focused on being clean. And a lot of the time, it's tied to other things like general anxiety or even obsessive-compulsive tendencies. It's really this mix of your own experiences and what you're naturally prone to.
And a fear this big, it doesn't just stay in one little box. It creates this ripple effect that touches every single part of a person's life.
And this right here, this is the day-to-day reality. We're talking about so much more than just hand washing. It's this constant, heavy weight on your mind. Just try to imagine the sheer energy it takes to be worried about contamination 24/7. It makes you avoid social events, turn down opportunities. It can even cause actual physical panic attacks. It's just so isolating.
And this quote, it just hits the nail on the head. Emotional exhaustion. Think about it. Being on high alert all the time. Meticulously planning your every move to avoid germs. The nonstop stress, it is absolutely draining. And that exhaustion, it's probably one of the biggest, but also most invisible parts of this whole thing.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the challenge, which is huge. But now, and this is so important, we need to talk about the path forward. Because no matter how severe it seems, there are absolutely ways to manage this.
And that is maybe the most important takeaway here. Yes, mysophobia is a serious challenge, but it is manageable. Hope isn't just some fluffy idea. It's a real thing, and it's backed up by treatments that we know actually work.
The really good news is there's a clear game plan for getting better. You've got things like therapy, specifically cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It's super effective because it helps you tackle and reshape those irrational thoughts. Then there's exposure therapy, where you safely and gradually face your fears, basically retraining your brain not to panic. And you can back all that up with relaxation techniques and sometimes medication. It's not just one thing, it's a whole toolkit for taking back control.
And this, right here, is what it all comes down to. Look, the goal is not to get rid of every germ on the planet. That's impossible, right? The real goal is to get to a place where the fear of germs isn't calling the shots anymore. It's all about finding that balance, where you can be cautious and healthy without letting anxiety completely run your life.
So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. Knowing about something like mysophobia is step one. But the next step is empathy, right? How can we, just in our everyday lives, create a space that's a little more understanding, a little more supportive, for people who are fighting these battles that are completely invisible? It's definitely something for all of us to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.